Dubro Suspicion Files.
Today we are diving into a real-life spy thriller that unfolded in broad daylight. This is a story that has it all. A weapon of mass destruction, a bizarre reality TV prank show plot, and a brazen assassination. It's a wild one. So let's set the scene. We're here in a super busy, low-cost airport terminal. You know the type. A place where everyone is anonymous, just trying to catch a flight. But on this particular morning, this ordinary place became the stage for an absolutely audacious international hit. 2.33 seconds. Think about that. That is the total amount of time it took for two women to walk up to a man from behind and just smear something on his face. In less time than it takes to check a text message, a deadly plot was already in motion.
And that right there, that's the central mystery we're unpacking today. This wasn't some simple street crime. This was basically a state-sponsored execution using a banned chemical weapon right in front of hundreds of people. So, who was the target? What in the world was that weapon? And how did the masterminds just get away with it?
Okay, first up, let's look at the victim himself. He was a guy traveling under a fake name who walked up to an information desk saying someone had attacked him and it was painful. 20 minutes later, he was dead. And, as it turns out, this was no random guy named Kim Chol. The target was royalty, a member of North Korea's ruling family, the Pakdu bloodline. And more importantly, he was the estranged half-brother of the current supreme leader, Kim Jong-un.
And this is where the story just gets truly bizarre. The sheer absurdity of it all was captured in one single image. One of the assassins was wearing this sweatshirt. LOL, laughing out loud, became this surreal symbol for a public murder. It's this detail that just made the whole thing feel less like a state-sponsored hit and more like something from a really, really twisted prank show.
So why? Why was this man such a target? Why risk this massive international incident just to kill him? Well, to get that, we need to understand his very unique and, as it turns out, very dangerous place inside North Korea's ruling family.
So here's the core conflict laid out. On one side, you have Kim Jong-nam. As the eldest son, a lot of traditionalists believed he had the more legitimate claim to power. He was educated in the West, he spoke multiple languages, and he was openly talking about economic reform, all ideas that are pretty much poison to the current regime. He even criticized his own family's hereditary succession. You can see how his very existence was a direct threat to his younger brother's rule. His fall from grace wasn't just one thing, it was this long, dangerous slide into exile. After his uncle, who was his main protector back in Pyongyang, was brutally executed in 2013, he knew he was living on borrowed time. And then, just 4 days before he was killed, he had a meeting in Malaysia that might have been the final nail in the coffin, a meeting with a man believed to be his CIA handler. Now let's talk about the weapon itself. The stuff that killed him wasn't just poison. No, it was a sophisticated chemical agent, so deadly it's actually classified as a weapon of mass destruction. This is VX. Basically, it works by causing your muscles to convulse uncontrollably, which leads to your respiratory system just shutting down. You literally can't breathe. Using this in a crowded airport wasn't just an assassination, it was a terrifying statement. It was a profound breach of international law. All it takes is about 10 milligrams. That's the estimated lethal dose of VX when you put it on someone's skin. It's an amount that is so incredibly small, you'd never even see it.
Yep. Less than a single drop. That's all you need to kill someone. And that really highlights not just how potent this weapon is, but the cold, calculated precision of the whole attack.
So who were these women who delivered this poison with their bare hands? You'd think they'd have to be these elite, hardened spies, right? Well, the truth is, a whole lot weirder. And frankly, a lot more disturbing than that.
The cruel genius of this whole operation was the method. The handlers found two young women, Siti Aisha from Indonesia and Doan Thi Huang from Vietnam, who were really just looking for some money and a little bit of fame. They were trained for weeks, paid about $100 a day to perform these harmless pranks on strangers using baby oil. Then, on the final day, the baby oil got swapped out for VX. And just like that, they became unwitting, disposable assassins.
So who was pulling the strings here? Well, behind these two women was a whole team of North Korean intelligence agents who orchestrated every single move and then just vanished into thin air.
Their getaway was absolutely flawless. I mean, while the two women were being arrested, the handlers, the guys who recruited them, trained them, and gave them the poison, they were just calmly watching from a cafe nearby. Before the police had even identified Kim Jong-nam's body, these guys had already gone through security and were on flights back home to Pyongyang.
So what happens next? Well, what followed the assassination was really a masterclass in obstruction. It led to a diplomatic crisis, a hostage standoff, and ultimately a legal conclusion that just stunned the world.
North Korea's playbook here was incredibly aggressive. First, they denied everything. Then, they literally barred Malaysian citizens from leaving their country, effectively taking them hostage. So Malaysia, trying to prioritize the safety of its people, caved. They traded Kim Jong-nam's body for their citizens back, and that deal also let the rest of the North Korean suspects fly home. That was the end of any chance of actually prosecuting the masterminds.
And this quote right here was the heart of the defense. Their lawyers argued that the women had absolutely no clue they were handling a deadly poison. They showed evidence of all the prank show rehearsals and basically asked a really simple question. Who would knowingly smear the world's deadliest nerve agent on someone's face with their bare hands?
And in the end, that argument worked. After a ton of diplomatic pressure from their home countries, Siti Aisha was freed, and Don Thi-hung was released shortly after. So after all of this, no one, not the women, not the handlers, not the state that sent them, was ever held legally responsible for the murder.
And this leaves us with the most chilling takeaway of all. From Pyongyang's perspective, this operation was a stunning success. They got rid of a political rival, they sent a terrifying message to defectors all over the world, and they proved that the regime can use a weapon of mass destruction on foreign soil with complete and total impunity.